Welcome to the Film Ticket with Daniel and Kasich. We talk only films. No gossip, no drama, no bullshit.
And welcome back to the Film Ticket with Kasich Israni Winger and my co-host Daniel Roars. Our producer David Hinman is not here today, so it looks like we're on our own here.
We're a ship without a captain right now. We are a ship without a captain.
And we asked our social media manager to come, but she had something going on, some prior engagements.
Probably a nap or something, just didn't want to show up.
Probably.
Yes, so this week we will be talking about animated films that just have to do with Disney, but because Disney animation has been around since the 50s and 40s? When did Disney first start this? I think the 40s he started this. So we are only going to be looking at animated films that were post-2000. So none of those other classic films like Toy Story, Toy Story 2, all of those that came out in about 1999, 1998. We would not be looking at those.
And we're leaving out those original Disney ones as well, like Steamboat Willie, Fantasia,
Beauty and the Beast, all the
Sleeping
classic.
Beauty. Yeah, you know how it is, guys.
Yep.
All right, so let's start off, shall we?
Yes, our first movie we will be talking about is the all-classic Monsters, Inc. Pixar is an affiliate of Disney, and when Monsters, Inc. was being pitched, this is interesting. At one lunch in 1994, the movies Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, A Bug's Life, and WALL-E were all pitched, and they were all said yes to at one lunch in 1994.
Really?
So 4 classic, wonderful hits. Well, WALL-E, is that really a classic? But no, it's not. It's just a good movie. I mean, yeah, it's interesting that it was all pitched at one movie. But I love Monsters, Inc. I think it's good. I think it's so good.
For me, I mean, this is probably because, I was younger then. But when I was afraid of Monsters, Inc., I thought it was the scariest movie.
Oh, I thought Sully was hiding in my closet for
right.
weeks after I watched this. I thought he was going to literally poke out and scare the crap out of me every night.
Yeah, this movie scares me. Like, this and E.T. are the scariest movies I've ever seen.
You really have to grow. Like, once you get older, then you're like, okay, it's not that scary anymore.
But you still have that childhood trauma.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, I mean, watching it as an adult, Monsters, Inc. was really far ahead of its time in animation style, and the story was such a good family-friendly story that a lot of people watched it. It spawned Monsters University, and then there's another one that they made off of it. I can't remember what that was though.
I think it was only Monsters Inc. and Monsters. Oh, they made like a couple of shorts. Like
that's probably what I'm thinking.
Sully and like Sully and Mike driving or something. Like these
right.
little itty bitty shorts or whatever.
Right.
But no, John Goodman and Billy Crystal. John Goodman and Billy Crystal really leading the pack here as starring as Sully and Mike.
Right.
And you want to know something really crazy about Sully's character? You know who was originally tagged to play it?
I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark here. Can I take a shot in the dark?
Yeah, take a shot.
All right. Instead of John Goodman, hear me out. Hear me out. It was Bette Midler. Do you know who that is?
So that was literally the worst guess I've ever heard.
Was it Bill Murray?
It was Bill freaking Murray.
Right.
It was the late great Bill Murray. No,
it wasn't Bette Midler.
No, it was not Bette Midler.
Some say love. That's a good song.
No, it was Bill Murray. He went in. He tested. They loved him. They called him up. They said, "Will you do it?" And he never picked up the phone. And Pixar never could contact him. So they took it as a no.
Really? That's because he was probably doing all those weird Wes Anderson films at this time.
God, but what great films. Let's see. What else have we got here?
So Monsters Inc. won 1 Oscar in the year 2002 at the 2002 Oscar show, Academy Awards.
What did they win the Oscar for?
They won for Best Animated Picture, I believe, right? Because that was around at this time. No, it won for Best Music.
Oh, yeah.
It did not win for Best Animated Feature.
It was nominated for Best Animated Feature.
Who won Best Animated Feature then?
I have no idea.
Well, yeah, so it won Best Music with Randy Newman for If I Didn't Have You. Randy Newman also wrote You Got a Friend in Me for Toy
Yeah,
Story.
dude, he wrote all those classics.
Right. So, but now I'm intrigued. Who won Best Animated Film in
I don't know.
2001?
But
But
now
probably something we have no idea about.
Well, now we're talking about animated films. This is a little interesting factoid. So Sully
Oh.
had over 2.3 million individual strands of hair on him that when they animated it, and for every single frame that Sully was in, it took 12 hours to render it because he was so it was so in depth. It was so intense about as much animation they had to go through. But so the winner for best animated feature
Was
in
Shrek.
2002 is Shrek.
Okay, so I thought it was gonna be some random movie we had no idea
And
about,
then-
but I forgot Shrek
so
came out
it
this
was
early.
literally these are the nominees: Shrek, Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, and Monsters Inc.
Because there weren't very many animated films then.
I love Jimmy Neutron,
Jimmy
but
Neutron's
like
stupid.
get out of the way when it comes to those other two.
Right.
Like those are best. friends.
Yeah, Jimmy Neutron's not very well animated.
It's not, but it's a funny movie. I enjoyed it when I was a little kid. I thought he was the literal shit, and I was sitting there and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I could take roller coasters into space. Now I'm terrified of roller coasters, but like if I could take a roller coaster in space, that'd be awesome. But Monsters Inc. I mean, okay, post 2000 does that crack your top 5 in animated movies
for
for
Disney?
For Disney, top 5 post 2000.
honestly,
Does crack your
I don't
top
think
5.
it's even close.
Really?
I don't think it's even in top 10.
So-
Have they made that many? But I don't think it's even top 10.
No, but I mean, like, if we look at, do you like the newer movies like Toy Story 3? You know, like the animation is amazing because it just came out; it's very recent. But like, is it just the animation factor, or is it like
no,
overall story?
I just kind of both.
Mhm.
I'm not a big the story for Monster, like the plot line, how like they're in this world where they work being scary monsters. That's a really cool
Yeah.
idea. But I just I just don't like the story that much. I like Toy Story 3 better. I like Up better. I like Finding Nemo better.
Yeah. It does crack my top 10, but it does not. I think it might crack 10. It might go into the 10 slot, but I don't think it
Right.
gets anywhere close to my top 5.
I like Ratatouille, Inside Out, The Good Dinosaur. There's so many that I can list off that I like more than Monsters Inc. Not saying that Monsters Inc. is terrible or anything. I probably like more. And this is early Pixar, right? So
Yeah, this was very early. This is when they were first. I think this was right after Toy Story.
this was their second.
Yeah.
A third film because Toy Story 2 came out prior.
Yeah, Toy Story 2 came out in 99. So this was probably their 10, maybe under 10 films.
Oh yeah, I think it's like under 5 films.
Maybe
actually.
under 5. Okay. Then, but you know what, though? I do like The Incredibles over that. And
let's move on to the next.
and
Good
that
segue.
is a beautiful segue into talking about our next film, which
All right.
is The Incredibles, ladies and
We're
gentlemen.
kind of Pixar here, but don't worry. After The Incredibles, we'll go to a non-Pixar film.
We'll go to a non-Pixar film, we promise. Now,
Incredibles. Brad Bird, director, writer. Perfect.
I think everybody in our generation, heck, even the adults that saw this, were wondering right after 2004, okay, when's the sequel coming out?
Mhm.
Because the minute they showed the Underminer at the last minute,
right, that's such a cliffhanger.
I'm like, okay, this is like 4 years later. I want another one, not 15 years later, because the sequel to this is coming out in 2019.
Are you gonna go see it?
Oh heck yeah! I'll be first in line. There'll be little
You gonna see it
kids.
in theaters?
There'll be little kids standing in the way. I'll just be shoving them to the side, like get out of my way! I waited for 15 years for this. Take a golf club and just start hitting them out of the way.
Okay, wow, that's.
Gee, that got dark.
I saw The Incredibles in theaters when it came out,
I did too.
but now I think the second one, just because being busy with with school and just being lazy at the same time, I'm probably gonna wait until this comes out on DVD.
Dude, I think this is too much of my childhood for me not to. But here's the thing, though. I'm thinking about the next one. Did we all build the sequel up too much, and we're all going to be disappointed?
Maybe because we
built-
have 15 years to do it.
We built this up for 15 years. For 15 years, we've built the sequel up in our heads. Like, I want this Underminer dude to be freaking amazing.
Is he even supposed to be the villain?
You know, I have no idea. They cast it. I mean, like, I think they have all the recording done. I think they're
Oh
just
my
animated. But I'm like, I don't know if it's the Underminer. Okay, how can they not do the Underminer though? And like,
I don't know.
you know what I'm saying? Like, you left it off. If you just like all of a sudden cut to like 20 years later, like I'm gonna be sitting there going like, what the heck happened to the Underminer? Why doesn't the Underminer get any love? But this movie, I think this was awesome. You know, Samuel Jackson's in it, which is always good. Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, Craig T. Nelson, Holly Hunter as the lead Pars. Honestly, this is gonna sound kind of weird, but my favorite role in this entire film is Mr. Incredible Bob Parr's boss, Gilbert, played by Wallace Shawn from.
Dude, I love him.
Who's also in Toy Story 2 as the dinosaur. Yeah, and he's in Princess Bride. Wallace Shawn is hilarious at anything he does, even if it's supposed to be serious. Like My Dinner with Andre is hilarious.
Every time I watch that scene where he's getting fired and he's
Bob,
you're fired. It's like, if I have to count or whatever the heck he says, I'm just like, it's supposed to be a serious scene, but I'm sitting there just giggling the whole time because he's just too fantastic. I don't know.
Never go against the Sicilian when death is on the line. That's from Princess Bride.
I know.
Okay.
I've seen Princess Bride. We'll get to Princess. We'll do a whole episode on Princess Bride because it's that good.
Our social media manager, Becca, she doesn't like that movie.
Okay, so we're firing her.
Okay.
Becca, if you're listening, you're getting fired.
Of course she's listening. She listens to all of our episodes.
She's still getting fired.
No, you're not. Don't worry. You just have to like this movie.
Oh my god.
So yeah, Incredibles, written and directed by Brad Bird. Not necessarily I want to say his pet project, but it was a lot of his influence that he put into this film. And I watched this. If you guys know the YouTube channel Screen Junkies that talks about films as well. People ask, like, why isn't there ever a good Fantastic Four movie? And the guy at Screen Junkie said, there is. It's called The Incredibles.
Dude, this is, Fantastic Four was just awful. And then, if you watch that and The Incredibles, this is the Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, The Incredibles is great.
They got the different title. They don't have the right title when they're talking about. But, so, do you know the short little designer for all their... costumes for all their uniforms. Edna. Do you know? Mode, yeah. Do you know who that is voiced by? It is voiced by Brad Bird.
Oh, I think I did know that. Yeah,
he voices it, and I'm like, that is literally awesome.
That is sweet. It's this is gonna sound kind of weird, but when people go to Comic-Cons and stuff.
Yeah.
I like it when people I've seen a couple photos of people dressed up like Edna from The Incredibles, and it's hilarious. It is hysterical.
Dude. I mean, okay, if you're thinking of, I don't know, Edna might be one of my favorite characters.
She's my favorite character, besides Frozone.
Frozone, because it's Sam L. Jackson, baby.
All right, so anyway, back to the film, the actual film. Instead of us just gushing about this film, so this film in the Academy Awards of 2005 won 2 Oscars, one for Best Achievement in Sound Editing and the other for Best Animated Feature of the Film. And it was also nominated for Best Writing for Original Screenplay and Best Achievement in Sound Mixing. So it actually got some sound nominees there and wins. And it was really recognized for the story and how original it was and how interesting it was.
I think this is one of my top 5.
This is top 5, yeah. This is top 5.
This is easily my third favorite.
Of Disney Pixar.
Yeah, of Disney Pixar films. But, okay, so speaking of all Disney Pixar films, so you remember in Toy Story that little truck from, Space Planet? Pizza Planet?
Yeah, they're in all the movies, aren't they?
They're not in The Incredibles.
Oh, they aren't.
I think I read it that this movie does not have it. It's either this one or oh gosh.
I think it is this one. I
think it is this one.
Yeah, because I think you're right because all those other Pixar films they have they're all directed by John Lasseter, and he's always putting the same stuff in.
They all have little Easter eggs put in.
But this is Brad Bird's this was Brad Bird's only Pixar film until recently. So I think
if it was snuck in, and we could be wrong. It could actually be in there, but we don't know. We don't do our research that thoroughly. And I mean, even if it is, then it's some director. Gosh darn it, I might be getting it wrong, but he was nothing goes in the movie in the animation without his first signing off on it. So if someone snuck in a car, it was not his doing. It was someone else sneaking in a car, which I think would be interesting. But to me, that's interesting.
Some right development over at Disney.
They got a little spy in there. No, but okay. So all the superheroes, of course, the family has all powers, and they were all given to them by their personality types.
Right.
So they figured out the personalities, and then they were like, "Ooh,
That's smart. That's smart.
Yeah, like you get the personality because I mean, like Dash, of course his name is Dash. I mean, like it'd be weird if his name was Dash and he could lift like 1,000 pounds. Like that wouldn't make sense.
Or
in
if
my
his
head.
name was Frozone and like he could like
Big shields and stuff,
right.
or stretch. Okay, so out of this, who would you want to be? Out of you cannot put Frozone. It's just out of the family.
Out of the family. Okay, so listen to my logic here. I'd like to be Dash because he is essentially Jesus Christ. He runs on water.
He runs on water. I totally forgot about that. The second coming of Christ has already
Dash
happened.
is the second coming of Christ.
I would like to be Jack Jack.
Okay, just because he like has no specific.
Dude,
power.
he's crazy. When they're flying up to the ship and he's just like in his arms and he's like just morphing into all this different stuff. Like that was pretty awesome.
So moving on here, the next film we're gonna be talking about is not a Pixar, the only Pixar film that we didn't pick today, which might be kind of bad. Don't hate us in the comments below, but it's gonna be Big Hero 6. I have a hat with Baymax on it, which our social media director Becca actually bought for me, so for Christmas. So yeah, I have a hat with Baymax on.
Speaking
I
of
love Big Hero.
Baymax, you know what animal he's based off of?
A panda?
A penguin.
A penguin?
He's based off of a penguin.
I thought it was based off of Kung Fu Panda.
Get out. Just get out. I'm going to finish this podcast on my own. I'm going to mute your mic. I'm just going to turn off your mic right now. No, he was based off of a freaking penguin. And I like the whole mixture here. It's like, what was it? San Tokyo was based off of. So San Francisco
right.
and Tokyo combined.
That's sweet.
I watched it and I didn't actually get it at first. I'm going to be honest.
Because you're an idiot.
I literally am an idiot. I didn't get it. And then I watched it again and I'm like, oh, I get it.
Right, yeah. So Big Hero 6 came out in 2014. November 7th is when it hit theaters in the United States. Won one Oscar, and that Oscar was for Best Animated Feature Film. And so, interestingly enough, a lot of people, people are aware of Big Hero 6, but not a lot of people have seen Big Hero 6.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. This was probably in the top 5 movies that can make me cry no matter what.
Uh-huh.
This is number 5. And the very last scene for our viewers that have seen it, I think we all know what scene I'm talking about.
Right.
But, it makes me cry hands down anytime.
And you know what? For a kid's film, too, the villain is really diabolical.
Yeah.
He's scary.
He is. I mean, I understand his reasons, but it's like, jeez.
Yeah, he's dark. There are parts that are dark in this film.
Yeah, try not to spoil the ending so hard because I just want to talk about everything.
Right. Yeah,
detail. There is no one in this film.
Well, it's got a decent ensemble cast of not necessarily B stars, but some lower celebrities like T.J. Miller. T.J. Miller's
good.
T.J. Miller's good. We have Damon Wayans, part of that whole Wayans clan. You know him. We got Alan Tudyk. He's a pretty good actor. Maya Rudolph from Saturday Night Live. So it's got kind of some lesser known people.
But I mean, and then T.J. Miller probably was the most known because of course he's in Deadpool,
which came out after. So nobody knew him in this one.
Oh, yeah, true. He was still hilarious in Deadpool.
Yeah, he's hilarious in this one, too. He's also in How to Train Your Dragon.
Wow. Yeah, that's in pre-production, but we'll get back to that later. But, no, you know what? That's a weird thing about animated films because, if you threw someone in there Samuel Jackson, we just talked about him, he's fresh on the mind.
Right.
If you threw someone like Samuel Jackson in there, people would be constantly thinking, yes, Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, you know who it is.
And it's just so part of me likes the fact they didn't do this. They didn't do that with this animated film because it's you're not focused. Yeah, you're not focused on who they are in real life. You're focused on the characters that you're witnessing on television.
Right.
I think that's awesome with every animated film.
Right. So that's a good point, Daniel, because nowadays and this isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, they sometimes they just do it, to get box office ratings, so more people will come and see it. But yeah, if you're going to a movie like you said, The Incredibles, or if you're going to Despicable Me, no hate to those films. I like those films, but it's Steve Carell.
Yeah.
And it's Samuel L. Jackson in The Incredibles. And it's The Rock in Moana. It's these characters. So part of that kind of takes you out of the story. Whereas if you have a celebrity that is good at their trade, is good at acting, good at their work, but they're not necessarily so big that they're used for for only box office success, then I feel like you get more involved in the story. Whereas if you have somebody that everybody knows and is so distinctive that.
But the one movie I think they struck gold on, Tom Hanks in Toy Story. I never.
You didn't know that was Tom
no,
Hanks?
No.
You're an idiot.
I knew it was Tom Hanks. Don't disrespect. Don't throw that disrespect my way.
Sorry,
I'm just kidding with you. I love you. I love you, buddy.
Okay.
No, when I watch it, I mean, like, I don't really think that it's Tom Hanks, but I mean, because I'm biased, because Toy Story is my favorite film of all time.
And another great segue for Daniel, as we now.
Oh no, are we done talking about Big Hero?
We are
6?
done talking
We're
about
done
it.
talking about Big Hero 6. All right,
Go watch Big Hero 6 just because we have no.
I think Baymax. Wait, hold on. One more thing about Baymax. So when he's losing power and he pretends to be drunk,
Yes, that's hilarious.
I laugh my ass off. I'm even laughing thinking about it. I think that is absolutely hilarious every time I see it, because it's just like.
And he's like, whoa.
he pets the cat and he's like, so soft. He's sitting there like he's deflating and he's like acting. I think that was a wonderful idea by the writer.
Yeah, great thing. Maybe later this week we'll have an uploaded picture of my Baymax hat onto our Facebook page.
Yes. Now.
So yeah, moving on to our final film here.
Speaking of films,
another Pixar.
A film that makes me cry every time, Toy Story 3. Let me tell you something.
60% of the time.
60% of the time it works. Every time.
Anchorman references. Okay, I'm sorry.
Ron, that literally makes no sense.
No.
No, it's not Ron.
Ron's the one that says that.
Ron's the
right?
one that says it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Daniel.
Now that quote's gonna bug me. I love this film mainly because I love Toy Story. I grew up with the Toy Story life. Like if those things were VCRs, they would be watched 100 times. But in 2010, so I saw this movie. Thank God I did not see it in theaters. I saw it in my basement. It was with my family. It was wonderful. I cried my eyes out. It was so sad, and they could have ended it so many different ways that would have made me bawl even more. But I don't know. This might be one of my favorite Toy Story films. I don't know. It was so touching. These films touch me in the heart. You know what I'm saying? A little slice of childhood.
So that's how Disney keeps you coming back.
Yeah, it's a little bit of
They
a slice.
play on your emotions.
They play on the emotions of getting these good films when you're little. Like, I would not be surprised if Frozen 2 comes out. You know how much money?
I think it's already in pre-production.
Is it? Or, yeah, there
probably.
has to be. They're going to make several of those.
So, Toy Story 3 came out in 2010, won 2 Oscars for Best Animated Feature Film of the Year, and Randy Newman back at it again for Best Original Song, Music Written, for We Belong Together. It was actually nominated for Best Picture that year. Toy Story 3 was. Best Achievement in Sound Editing, Best Writing for Adapted Screenplay. So it's a massive leap. And I think Up also got the nomination for Best Motion Picture of the Year. But that shows how far animation, not just Pixar, but animation has come from the original Toy Story in, 95?
Yeah, you can get the hat tip for
And-
Best Motion Picture
Right.
of the Year. You can get that hat tip. That is unbelievable.
Right, so...
But here's my thing.
So that was up for, with other great films like Inception, The Fighter, Social Network, 127 Hours, Black Swan, King's Speech. So many Best Motion Pictures of the Year. Toy Story 3 was added in that. And you know what? Toy Story 3 is probably the one we'll most remember out of all those.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, the King's Speech, Inception, of course, I like it. But, I mean, like, Toy Story 3, hands down. I'll be watching that when I'm 90. I got no problem with that. I'll be watching that. That movie will be watched with me on my deathbed. When I'm buried, those movies, all the Toy Story movies, will be buried with me. Right. That's how passionate I am about these films. That's how much I love them. They're that good.
All right,
They're that good.
I know. I have a couple of opinions for how the film should end, but we can't obviously talk about that right here, right now.
Don't make me fire you.
So if you guys want to hear about my opinions and stuff, we can do a little mini podcast maybe later. Just
you
let
know
us
what?
know in the
How
comments.
about we do? What if we told them, hey, we're gonna spoil the ending, so if you want to, skip ahead a little bit.
Let's not do that.
Not do it. All right, then.
I just want to get out of here.
All right, true. It's late. We're doing this really late at night. Then we will do a little mini podcast some other time where we talk about the ending of this film. We talk about our thoughts. Made me bawl my eyes out. But I do not like the fact, and I can't believe I'm saying this, that they're making a fourth. Because the whole universe revolves around Buzz, Woody, and not Bonnie, but Andy. I don't like I thought it was a touching memento that it was like how the ending played out, but the fact that they're now redoing it with Bonnie is just a way for them to be like, hey, we can get more money off this film. Let's do it. Like, no, this film was perfect leaving it there. It should be done.
And you know what? You can I kind of agree with you. I think they are overstaying their box office welcome, but you know what? Regardless of what happens, people are still gonna go see it.
Yeah,
and really,
I'll
that's
see it.
pretty much in Disney's and Pixar's mind right now. Not to say that that they're a big corporation that just wants money.
Okay, but they are basically a big corporation
Pretty
that
much.
just wants money. I mean,
Yeah.
like, no corporation's in this to be like, how can we be nice to children? No, it's what'll fill the seats.
All right, so
All right.
I don't know. Maybe we don't want to say anything early. This is just our opinion about it now. But it might come out be the greatest thing ever. But
Yeah, I mean, look, I love this film. I think it's amazing. I watched it the other night with a friend of mine, and we both thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Now, for our final segment of
Our
the night,
debate.
our little debate, and we will be debating the 2007 film Meet the Robinsons. Now, should we mix it up and you go first?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're gonna mix it up. Kasich is gonna give his wonderful opinion first, and then I will rebuttal.
All right, so Meet the Robinsons, directed by Stephen J. Anderson. I don't want to be a jerk, but I don't know who that is.
I
mean,
don't either.
He's
You're
more
fine.
successful than us.
Yeah, he's. I mean, look, he directed Meet the Robinsons.
Since,
I mean,
right?
like, he's
So
gonna be
he's already
somebody.
better than us. So I'm gonna start off this week. Before we start here, a little preface. Both of us are we both like this film, right?
Yeah, we do. I do. I
And
like it.
so I'm not necessarily playing. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here.
I think it's.
But also, there are some parts that I'm not.
I think we'll
really-
both be playing devil's advocate. This was a really hard thing for us to come up with what movie to really debate on because there wasn't really a Disney movie. We both were just like, I hate this movie,
Right.
and the other one of us loved it. It was really like we sat down, we went through a couple dozen films to be like, what movie should we talk about? I mean, because it took us a while. It really did.
All right, so I'm going to start off about Meet the Robinsons. I'm going to say that Meet the Robinsons. There are some where there are some touching moments. Meet the Robinsons. It is slightly cluttered, in my opinion. There's a ton of characters trying to go for a cool ensemble casting. On some level, it works, but then on another level, it's kind of strange. And there are some parts in the film that are not necessarily confusing, but they're just downright weird, and maybe you'd get a kick out of it. When you're a kid, I know I definitely did. I know you definitely did.
I did.
But now when you watch it as an adult, you're just thinking, that's really weird. Are you trying to go for something, or are you just trying to make kids laugh?
I do actually get that if you're trying to make kids laugh and whatnot. I do actually respect that point.
I just want to think that is there actually substance behind it, or is it just
You know what?
off the wall?
I'll give you that one, but then I'm going to come back and actually have a little bit to it because, when we talked about, is Disney just trying to fill the seats? So I think maybe this movie was because this was 2007, this was beginning of the recession. So was this we need to get a movie out there to try to get people to try to live this?
Honestly, I don't know if it was so much that, but I think Disney was having their own personal recession because they just come out with crap films like Chicken Little.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry, Open Season and Robots. Robots is trash.
Robots is. I think all those movies were trash. So I think they were hitting low every time. So I think this movie was really this. This is going to be good humor. This is going to be easy, and we're going to fill the seats. However, I think this movie has the best message out of all the Disney movies because. When you listen to it, it's really if you're looking for a good dose of motivation, this is the movie to watch because it's all about and there's dating advice in it, which I did not know, and then I read about it. So the motivation is just at one point the little guy, you want to scroll up, I don't know his name. The main character is Lewis. I didn't know that. So the main character is Lewis,
I don't remember his name.
and at one point, he just fails in front of the whole family. He's sitting there having a panic attack, and all the family's just like, "You failed! Yippee!" They're all excited for him, and I think that that alone, that little piece, that scene, underrated, but yet it's just yo, failure's okay. Then there's one that it's Lewis talking to a different character. I'm not going to say who. That'll spoil the entire plot, but it was just it was a quote that said, "Nothing is set in stone." Which, I think resonates with everybody. I think this movie has parts that resonate with people. So I think the message was almost too much in your face, but at the same time, it was it was a good, thorough message that I don't think any other Disney film had. Because the rest of the Disney films, what were they? Oh, stand by your friends, follow your heart. Like when you say those are accurate,
Yeah,
because like
yeah.
those were like they weren't.
That's
They were
what
like so vague. They were so vague themes. They were so vague lessons you want to learn, take away from this. Meet the Robinsons was like, this is the lesson right here. And also the dating advice, that's literally amazing. I will say this. I have used this dating advice. It is when, oh gosh, I don't remember her name, but it's one of the main characters, the one brunette, says, women are,
That's Mildred.
oh, it's Mildred. Okay, so Mildred says, and I'm going to paraphrase here because I'm not a woman, but women are always right. Even if we're wrong, we're right. And let me tell you something. They're always right.
Here's my rebuttal here. Like you said, yeah, the message is kind of in your face. It's really, yeah, it's pretty in your face, and it's not like, it's not necessarily a bad message, but I feel like it's kind of like I felt like I knew what was coming the entire time. As an adult, I mean, granted, I had already seen it, but when I was young, I was like, what the, just the ending, but not necessarily the theme. I knew what the theme was going to be, but the ending was what threw me off. But I think whenever you watch this movie, you know exactly what the end is going to be. There's really no twists and turns.
Okay, well, when I saw it in 2007, I didn't think about what the ending was going to be. I didn't see it coming.
I didn't see the ending coming either.
I
It's just
didn't.
the theme.
I mean, like, even the theme though. Like, I think when I saw it in 2007 for the first time, like, I myself was just like, I didn't really understand what it was all about because I was too young. I was too young to fully grasp the overall concept that this film was. This was 11 years ago I saw this. Like, this has been a long time since I saw this film. I think if I watch it now, I'm gonna pick out those subtle like hints and
Maybe.
be able to be like moved by them. But I mean, like. But here's my thing. I do like the villain in this because he's a weird. He's a different amount of weird mixed with diabolical, but yet like I don't know. He's a weird villain because okay, we're going from Big Hero 6 to this movie.
Mhm.
Big Hero 6, that villain was scary.
Right.
Like that haunted my dreams. Sully
Right.
also haunts my dreams. But like this,
What?
he hides in my closet. I
Wait,
feel like he's
who?
gonna
Oh,
say-
Sully. Oh, Sully.
Sully. No, I look at this villain. I'm like, he's the right amount of just like diabolical, but yet silly and imaginative. for lack
Yeah,
of
I
better
agree with
words.
that. I
So-
like the villain in this movie.
I think the villain was really funny, and
he's
I mean,
hilarious. Yeah.
okay, I
he's
think no
funny.
matter who you are, when you see the dinosaur scene.
Oh.
When you see the dinosaur scene, and I think if you've seen this movie, if not, go watch it because our talking about it, we're gonna be giggling the whole time. But that's funny.
Yeah, about just quickly, just to kind of go off track here for a second, about that certain scene. You know what's weird is, you know, when we were all kids and watching that, I bet if you ask any kid that is about our age, any person now that is about our age, when they were a kid, they remember this movie because of the trailer, and the trailer had that dinosaur scene.
Yeah.
And that's like
Yep.
the scene everybody remembers.
Because I think you need that one scene that everyone's gonna walk away from. You say,
And
Meet
and
the
does that make the
Robinsons.
film the rest of the film though forgettable? In my opinion, it kind of does.
Yeah, actually, it's a good point because if you think of, I'm gonna go back to Toy Story because I love Toy Story. If
Right.
you think about Toy Story, is there one scene that stands out above them all?
Not really.
No, it's like it's all equally amazing. And I think Meet the Robinsons, there was, this is terrible. I'm going on to your side, but like there was some highs and lows.
Right.
But like I think they're like the peaks.
The highs are good.
The peaks are amazing,
Right.
and the lows are kind of like but they're not like it made
They're
it a
not
trash
They're not.
movie.
Yeah, they're not
The-
terrible.
No, it's not bad at all. It's not like the first drop at a roller coaster that's like that scene was there
Uh-huh.
and the next scene was down there. It was like the kiddie roller coaster.
Yeah,
it's
it
all pretty
definitely
even.
has its moments, and those moments are good moments.
But I think the most relatable character in this
His goob,
is Goob. When
right?
remember the scene where he has the juice box, walks over to the woman, and I'm getting it from there, and he gestures the woman down, takes her cup of coffee, drinks it. That's good, Joe. I think every adult watching that went, "That's my life. That's my life."
Yeah, that was a. So I think we're going to agree, Daniel, here that that, like we said, there definitely are some high moments in Meet the Robinsons,
Definitely.
and there are some iffy moments. Definitely not awful, but they aren't spectacular either.
Yeah.
So Meet the Robinsons is not necessarily subpar, maybe a bit above
It got
that.
it got about a 6.97 stars on it, which I believe is an accurate
Out
representation.
of 10
Out of 10 stars.
on
think,
IMDb anyway.
On IMDb. Very sorry, I'm leaving out a bunch of information. So 6.9 stars out of 10 on IMDb. I think that is an accurate representation.
Yeah, so it's
Of the
still a good film. It'll still make your kids laugh. Heck, it'll still make us laugh.
Yeah, I mean, it'll still make
just
me
because
laugh
our
off.
nostalgia goggles and stuff. Because we grew up with this
Yeah.
movie. This movie was in the thick of when we were growing up.
Yeah, this is...
So that's gonna end us now for our animations here. Okay, so next week we're gonna be talking about some movies that aren't very good but have a certain scene that's spectacular. That's Oscar caliber.
we will probably end up throwing Meet the Robinsons back in there. No.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But no, thank you for stopping by. Very sorry. We're both... I'm really sick, and I think...
And I'm getting over a cold.
Kazac's getting over a cold. It's flu season here in northern Iowa, but so sorry about the little raspy and coughs every now and then. But thank you for sticking through us. Please like our Facebook page.
Sticking through.
Thanks for sticking through us. Thank you for sticking with us. I can't talk. I need to go to bed. It's about 9. It's about 9:30 right now. We're recording this. Not that late, but late for college students. So please like our Facebook page. Come back next week. And
Yeah, Daniel, go get some rest.
so thank you for sticking with us this whole time. We appreciate you so much. Please join us again next week. Have a good one.
Thank you.